There was a time when Terlingua was a boom town. When workers from 2 countries came together here to mine the earth for mercury. Today, that original settlement is a Texas ghost town and a place that draws artists from all over the country to paint its lonesome mood. It was in Terlingua where we met an artist, and then another, then a fourth, and then one more. 5 men who came here to paint. 5 painters who call themselves the Watercolor Gang.
It's a joy to be with a group who has a total interest that you have. And I'm like a kid waiting for Santa Claus, waiting for these trips.
Meet Clay McGoy, Ivan McDougall, Finus Collins, Gordon West, and Kuo Yen Ng, 5 men who 40 years ago set out on a trip to bring back the beauty of Texas' last frontier.
We were at a party at Finus's, Clay and myself, and we're talking about painting. He says, why don't we take a trip? You know, so we said, where to? We said, well, let's try Big Bend.
4 decades and 40 painting trips to the far corners of the earth later, the Watercolor Gang has come back to Big Bend.
The thing is, most of us work in the studio most of our year. And then that one time during the year we get out and plain paint, basically, and be able to really get out and have to draw and everything else. So it becomes an event.
5 men with 5 distinct styles, artists who all see the world a little differently, each in his own imaginative way. Individuals on a team called Friendship.
I've always thought of art as kind of an individual thing. It's something you do in solitude, yet you guys purposely get together and do this. Why?
We paint in solitude even when we're together. We're off in different places. Very rarely do we paint the same scene.
Sharing and showing. We're all better painters because of it, I think. That sounds kind of idealistic, but it's so.
And I know that I'm a better artist because of these guys.
Is it competitive?
We're trying to throw spots on paper and see if it works, as opposed to being in competition. We're really not in competition with each other, at least that's not the intent. But watercolor, in its simplification, is just spots on paper.
Do you have to paint?
Yes, because it's a drive. It's a challenge, number one, to be able to try to put down on paper the feeling I get when I see a particular scene, and hopefully try to get it to a position that whoever looks at it can feel that same thing that I felt when I saw what I was looking at.
Could you possibly describe that scene in words?
I don't think so.
I have to paint because I can't do anything else.
No, that's not true.
Well, it's almost.
He's the one of this group that's made a living at it.
You call that a living?
The way these week-long painting excursions work is really pretty simple. 1 painting in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, then back to the hotel for a round-table critique at night with only 2 rules. Say what you think and don't get your feelings hurt.
The best part of it is where you haven't painted anything. When you were about halfway through and I saw it, something in my mind says, I wish you'd stop right now. and I wish you had a...
That's what I said. I overworked it, as usual.
Day 2, and the Watercolor Gang hits the road in search of a suitable scenic vista.
The light is real good.
See, you got enough corners there. You got corners on that mountain.
Oh, this is great.
Look at the shapes.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful shape. You're painting from the desert into the mountains. I think that would be really a beautiful painting.
This was the place I was thinking about.
This is it.
There is so much to see in Big Bend. It's a wonder these watercolor wonders can ever single out a subject, then attempt to capture the sights, sounds, and emotions of a place that is unlike any other in Texas.
Sometimes you're at a place where it's sort of overwhelming, like the Big Bend is today, and you're not quite in the mood to be overwhelmed, or at least to record it. So I found that a lot of times you can not paint the world as we express it, but you can in fact look down and you're walking on what you should be painting.
That's something you cannot do in the studio, is get the feel, to swat the flies away, sit in the sun, get blinded by a white sheet of paper. What's important is you get the feel of the place.
Hello, twig. See, you're talking about emotions. You got to meet the twig. Yeah. Sometimes it helps to kind of horse around and fool yourself about that sort of thing. You know, I'm not painting the Big Bend, I'm painting myself. You can't help but paint yourself. You know, a lot of times you try to emulate other artists and you can't, so why?
What does this do for your soul?
My soul. Well, number one, I believe I have a soul. Number two, I believe in God and that He gave us a soul for some reasons. And I like to think that my reason is being an artist.
There is to us a certain familiarity in a group of dedicated artists traveling to the far reaches to bring back stories, impressions, and passion. Clay McGoy, Ivan McDougall, Finus Collins, Gordon West, and Kuo Yen Ng are 5 painters who, for 4 decades, have made a once-a-year journey to share friendship with one another and to share their talents and their passion with the world.
It's a letter to other people, you know, that lasts long. It's an email to other people for all time and for all distances, I guess.
And thanks for traveling with me again. Always nice to have you along. I'm Bob Phillips. This is Texas Country Reporter. We'll see you next time. Thanks for hopping in and traveling with us. Now click the subscribe button for more videos like the one you just saw.